Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome to Assetto Corsa Competizione Apex Online Racing Tier 2 round number 5. We're here at Imola. Apologize for that brief little delay. Turns out I was dropping about 67% of the frames, which would be horrible to view, but I reset my Wi-Fi and it's looking a lot better, so we'll just, hopefully nothing happens and we'll just carry on our way. So back to the action on track. Now qualifying has begun. Drivers are setting up their first laps of the session. Right now we're looking at Pasquale Di Lucia, who had an alright Bathurst, nothing special. He's down now in P8 in the championship. I'm not sure how he was doing in the practice session, but I do know the two pace setters were Florian Bauer and who was the other guy? I have the stuff here. It was Florian Bauer and Dennis Latz. There we go. So hopefully we can see Dennis Latz do the whole race, as he's got a very nice liveried car. And Florian Bauer, who we've seen do some very, very miraculous things around the track, but also had a really bad Bathurst to his name, is looking to rectify that bad race with a very good result. So as drivers now are on their first hot lap, not sure who's the first one on track, so we'll just kind of keep an eye as the times come in. I do expect to see the times go into the 1-minute 40s. Not sure if it'll go any lower than that, as I'm not fully versed on the ideal lap times around here, but we'll just have to keep an eye on it for now. But yeah, so session is currently started, 3 minutes gone by, 12 minutes to go. There is an 11% chance of rain for the race. Qualifying, as you can see, is clear skies, and that's going to be for the next 30 minutes, which is more than enough time to keep the session dry. So while these guys continue to do their outlaps, let's quickly go ahead and look at our championship standings real fast. So to bring us up to date, since it has been 2 weeks since our last race. So currently sitting in P1 in the championship is Tom Ray here with a commanding 104-point lead after winning a second race at Bathurst. He barely beat it over our P2 championship standing member Ole Pitschich, who I do have to apologize for because I was calling him Swedish, but he's actually Ukrainian. So the Ukrainian now up to P2 in the championship after another fantastic race, and I will not be making that mistake again. Ole Pitschich into Connor Wright moves up to P3, the British driver who's had some pretty good recent races. He didn't have a great Monza, but since then he's been pretty quick. He's got to iron out those few mistakes like that drive-through he had at Japan after starting up pole. Otherwise, Connor Wright's looking pretty quick as well. Florian Bauer, who we were just talking about, is in P4 after winning the first race. He's had a couple bad races and gotten a little bit unlucky with how it's gone. But he's currently down looking to make amends. In 5th place is Justin Hooley, who's been on the move. He's up 9 positions. 6th place, Simon Ramsayer, who also did not have a great Bathurst. Nico Ohl is up to P7 after we saw him have that huge wreck on the mountain, but he was able to still gain positions. Pasquale Di Lucia, who we were just mentioning before, is down in P8. July Sorp, who's had a pretty poor run of races recently, is in P9. And Alex Torregrossa rounds out our top 10. 2 big movers in the championship, though, are in 11th and 12th with Kuza and Chris Jones. Chris Jones was had a chance for the race victory, as we saw last race, but then made a mistake and ended up finishing P4. But his Lambo looked mighty fast around Bathurst, and he's looking to carry the momentum here in Imola after the break week. Takuza, on the other hand, he also had a pretty good Bathurst as well, and that has climbed him up into 11th place in the championship standing. So we'll head back to the action on track now, where our current pace setter is none other than Connor Wright with a 141.2. And so he is looking pretty quick so far. We'll have to see how much the times continue to drop. But Connor Wright currently sitting in provisional pole position with 3.5 tenths ahead of Ole Pitschich. In third place is Alex Torregrossa with Gillian Hardenberg. Now in fifth as Andy Vandervelde shoots up the P4. Good to see the McLaren driver sitting 16th in the championship up towards the front. But let's see how long that stays. As now Connor Wright just has broken into the 1:40s. He's the first driver to get into it. We'll see if those times can continue to drop with 9 minutes left in the session. But right now he's setting the pace for the field. Paulo Lima jumping up the boards and Dejan Militic up to P2 in his McLaren. So looking pretty good so far. One of the unfortunate things that I'm not able to do this race, and it's mainly due to the fact that we got a little bit of a late start. Not going to be able to show the hot lap that was provided by Alexander Irish, who is one of 2 drivers to change cars this race. Another driver that changed cars was Grigo Stangrit. Grigo previously raced in the Aston Martin, and he has switched to the Ferrari. Both drivers will lose all their championship points. So Alexander Irish, who was sitting, well, actually, they both already have their points registered as lost. Before the previous race, Stangrit was only in 28th. Irish is only up into 19th. So they're not losing too many points. You know, it just takes 1 or 2 good results, and they should be able to get all those points back, since neither of them were in a top 5 position. But we'll see what the guys can do, you know, going forward. Yeah, so only 1 driver so far has gotten into the 1:40s. That is Connor Wright. He's now 1:40.668. But Florian he did a 0.5. Sorry, the timing board's going all over the place. Florian Bauer does a 1:40.668, but Connor Wright goes even faster with a 1:40.575. So Wright looking mighty quick. But Alexander Irish, who we just mentioned, switching to the BMW, is up to P3 with a 1:40.9. So 3 drivers now in the 40s. Grigo Stangrit briefly said he went fastest, but then it shuffled him down the order. Not sure what happened there. Gillian Hardenberg's up to P3 with a 1:40.8. And Dennis Latz is right behind him with a 1:40.8 as well. So the 40s are starting to come in now as the track is up to optimum conditions. So it's unfortunate to see that Justin Hooley is not racing, as we see that in the chat. Now, hopefully we see you back next week, because we do enjoy watching you race, because you did give us a lot of action in Bathurst, and I anticipate you will be giving us more going forward. So looking at the rest of the top 10 right now, Dejan Milicic has dropped to P6. Tom Raher, our championship leader, is only in P7. He's a 1:41.1. And he has not gotten into the 40s just yet. We'll see if Raher can keep his momentum going, but that break week could throw him off of the rhythm. But I do expect to see the German up into the 1:40s, along with Ole Pitschich, his nearest championship rival, who's sitting down in the 1:41.1 as well. So looking through the field as well, we were also mentioning last week that Chris Jones had a very good Bathurst, and he was definitely very happy with how that race ended up. But there was another driver who had a really good Bathurst. Let's see if he is here today. And it shot him up the championship stand. I actually do not see him. I was looking for Chen. He had a phenomenal Bathurst, but I do not see him on the leaderboard right now. So I guess he is not racing today, as we only have 28 drivers on the grid. But Chen had a phenomenal Bathurst and jumped all the way up to P30 in the championship, up 11 positions. So the Chinese driver finally getting it together, but unfortunately not able to carry his momentum this week out. Chris Jones here, as we can see, his livery has finally been uploaded on his end. That is a very beautiful livery. I must say that is a very hot car right there. So hopefully he can take that car towards the front and give us plenty of action, so we can see more of that as the race starts and progresses. So, but towards the front though, everything's holding the same. Connor Wright only has 9 thousandths of a second over Dennis Lassenau, but positions have relatively stayed the same. Florian Bauer in P3, so the top 3 only separated by under a tenth. So it's looking like it's gonna come down to the wire here with 5 minutes left in qualifying. So these drivers need to nail their laps, keep using all of the track that they paid for in order to get a pole position. Rhea Aubrey, down in P12, the Turkish driver in their second race, is currently sitting in 12th, coming back on track for the final few runs of the session. Looking to see the rookie have another good outing after getting that early on drive-through, but then recovering to get some decent points. So looking to see a little better of a result today, assuming they can avoid that drive-through. Samir Foch right in front of him in 11th. He's in the Ferrari, looking to see if he can get into the top 10. We've seen him a decent amount drive racing, but we haven't seen him really do a whole lot when it comes to final results. So hopefully Foch can improve on his recent performances, which have currently dropped him down to 27th in the championship. But once again, a little bit of a gap towards the front right now. It's Gillen Hardenberg sitting in 4th. Hardenberg last week, or 2 weeks ago, if we recall, had a very poor Bathurst. Him and his teammate both were really struggling around Mount Panorama, which, I mean, it usually catches out most drivers, but Hardenberg was looking very quick. Him and John Sebastian Casanega, both of them really struggled around the track, but both are looking to have strong rebounds today. Actually, I don't see John Sebastian, so I believe it's just going to be Hardenberg representing the Numslops Shumiskins, I guess, is the proper way to say that, which is second in the team championship. They're behind Ninja Shape Racing, which is led by Takuza and followed, actually it's technically led by Nico Ol and followed up by Takuza, but we'll take a look at that skin. There is that Ninja Sheep Racing. Very quick car in that Bentley. Very clean looking as well. So, but let's keep an eye towards the front now. Has anyone improved on their time? Not really. Nuri Konjaglu's up into 9th in the Aston Martin, but still a half a second off of pole position, so there's plenty of time to be gained. Not sure if hopping turn up 14 into Variante Alta is really good for gaining time, but hopefully they did not invalidate. So we'll just have to keep an eye on Nuri, see what they can do throughout the session. Hard to see if their lap is currently an improvement. We'll stay on board with Nuri right now. Let's go on with that onboard camera. Let's see if they can improve on their lap time. Can the Turkish driver come across the line and improve on the position? Not this lap, no. Looks like Nuri was mainly on an out lap, so that is unfortunate. But anyways, back towards the front. Let's see who is currently on a hot lap. Bauer looked like he was on an out lap or a mediocre lap last time. Connor Wright, speaking of, he was on a hot lap. He just put in a 140.38. He is 2/10 clear of Dennis Lass, and he is flying right now, doing a similar thing to what he did in qualifying at Japan. So, but hopefully he doesn't repeat the outcome of Japan. But Wright right now is on the right track at the moment. Volkan Icek is currently up into P8. Good to see Volkan on the move. He has 26 points to his name, but starting in the top 10 would be very helpful as Alexander Irish displaces him. Sir Williams jumps all the way up into 6th place, the American in the McLaren, having a phenomenal lap just there. He did a 140.845. Gillian Hardenberg, speaking of phenomenal, now up to 2nd. Tom Raher into 3rd. There we go, the championship later, how we were talking about, but he looks like he is going to stop on track, and his session will be done. So right here, there's no way he has time to get back on track and to improve. So the best he will finish is P3. Alex Torgrosa, Dejan Militic, also their sessions will be done, since there's not enough time to leave the pits and do another hot lap. So keep an eye as Volkan also returns to the pits. He will start no higher than 11th as well. Where is Dennis Latz on track? Dennis Latz is currently going to be going into the 3rd sector. He looks to be on his final flying lap. See if he can improve on it. Also on track, let's see, is anyone in the 3rd sector? Where's Alexander Irish at? He's currently starting a lap, so he's got one more time try to improve it. Right here's in the pits. Hardenberg is in the pits as well. He will not improve. Where is Florian Bauer? Florian Bauer is currently going through Ravaza right now, and out of turn 18, it's going to be flat to the line. Can Bauer improve on his quali lap? I mean, he's got enough time to start one more. So this lap, hard to tell if it's going to be an improvement. He's going to come across the line and do a 142.315, but he's got enough time to do one more lap, so he will be the last guy to cross the line. Dennis Latz is running up to the line right now. I believe his session will be done when he crosses the line. Yes, that is checkered flag for Latz. He improved on his lap, but he invalidated it somewhere, so he will stay P4 at the highest. Next up, Alexander Irish, currently about to start the third sector. We've got the number 20 car, Rhea Aubie, currently sitting in P17. Can Rhea improve? Turkish driver, one of the few remaining drivers on the track. Only almost a second off the lead, but this lap's going to be enough for P7. That's a 140.806. That's a 10 position gain for the Turkish driver. Very good job. Alexander Irish currently next across the line, and behind him is going to be Dakuza. Thought it was Shooter, but because Shooter 80, but it's actually Dakuza behind Irish. So right now, Irish coming through Ravaza right now and flat to the line. He's currently at a 133. He's into the pits. His session is done. Dakuza, will he go to the line? Yes, he is flooring it right now as he comes up to the line. Can one of the coordinators improve on his position? He's currently P23. He's up to P17. Not a bad job by Dakuza. Next across the line is the number 12 car why can't I find the number 12 car all of a sudden? That's annoying. That's unfortunate. Florian Bauer is off the track. He will not improve on his starting position as well. And then Marlon Andrade, Andrade was the number 12 car. He's down in P20. Next across the line was the 329 car of Jen Climbs, who will start 24th. So that is our session, folks. Our current pole sitter is Connor Wright. Not current, our official pole sitter is Connor Wright with a 140.275. Gillian Hardenberg is sitting P2 with a 140.5 flat. Tom Ray here P3, Dennis Latz P4, Florian Bauer P5, Sir Williams P6, Rhea Aubie P7, Oli Pitchich P8, Alex Torres-Grossa P9, and Dejan Milicic P10. So very good job for Wright in qualifying. But now he's got an hour-long race. If you look at the top right of the screen, folks, we got rain on the way. So at the 30-minute mark, the skies will start to open up. The question is, how much rain will come down, and will it come down sooner? Since it says in 10 minutes it will stay dry. But who knows at the 20-minute mark if it will still be dry. So keep an eye on if these drivers, what kind of adjustments may they make, assuming that the rain's coming up. But we'll look right now from our helicam. So there's Connor Wright, our current pole sitter in the Aston Martin, the British driver, looking to his second pole of the season, looking to do much better than his previous pole. But last time he started on pole, he had an amazing recovery drive through the field and still finished in the top 10. So if Wright can show that kind of pace but actually stay at the front and not go drive through, the British driver may be on track for a win. Gillian Hardenberg, his first front row of the season in that nice black Ferrari. It's a very nice livery car. Looking forward to seeing what he can do today. Tom Ray here, championship leader, was able to shoot him up to P3, himself up to P3 for the race. At the very end there, he's looking to extend his 104-point gap over Oli Pitchich, which he's got a few cars in between them, so it's looking like he can do it. And the German looking to have a good race. Dennis Latz, who we're hoping to see have a full race here today. He has a lot of DNFs this season. Was able to finish, though, in the top 5 at Monza, but since then, it's not really been too good for Latz this season. So we'll have to see if he can actually put together a full 60-minute race and finish with some good points. Florian Bauer in P5, the German driver, looking to rebound after 2 pretty atrocious races to his name. Sir Williams, who had a pretty good Bathurst by the end of it, sitting P6, his best qualifying of the season. American looking to have his best race become this one and not Bathurst. Rhea Aubie, P7, in his second race with the best qualifying position of their AOR time. I wouldn't say career, since I don't know what else they've done, but this in their second race, starting P7, pretty good. And they are ahead of Oli Pitchich, who is also on that 4th row in an Aston Martin. He's got to close up a few positions if he wants to bring a title fight to Ray here, but with this being one of the last 4 races of the season, he needs to make it happen now and not let Ray here beat him. So we'll have to see if he can carve his way through the field. P9 is Alex Torres-Grossa in the Mercedes. Torres-Grossa was one of our first retirements last week. He's looking not to repeat that same fate. Dejan Milicic in P10 in the McLaren, looking to have, he has it was a mediocre qualifying session for him. He started in the top 10 before, but I'm sure he's looking to have a much better race finish. Alexander Irish, P11 in the BMW. It's a very clean-looking BMW on the grid, which I believe that gives us 2 BMWs, since Shooter also is driving one. So it'll definitely liven up the grid. Andy Vandervelde in P12 in his McLaren. Volkan Azicek in P13. Neri Konjaglu in P14. James Cowley is starting from 15th in the 8th row of the grid. Alongside is Paolo Lima in 16th in his McLaren. Takuza in 17th in the Ninja Sheep Racing, the first of the two. Not sure where Nico Ull is, actually. I don't think he's racing today. So Nico Ull is not racing today. I just confirmed that. Takuza, the only one of those 2 Bentleys. Actually, he might be the only Bentley on the grid today by the looks of it, as the 3rd Bentley of, why can I not forget who, Ben Blakemore is not racing today either. Samir Foch starting in 18th in his Ferrari alongside Takuza on the 9th row. Pasquale Di Lucia starting 19th and looking to have a reversal of fortunes in his championship standings, but starting P19 is not going to help your points haul, so he's going to have to make some positions on the grid. Marlon Andrade has given us plenty of action, but it's had some pretty up and down races this season due to incidents. Not always his fault, but hey, we'll see what the Brazilian can do starting from P20. Chris Jones in the Lamborghini starting P21, opposite end of the grid that he started last race. He's going to look to carve his way through the field this race. Jay Fang starting in 22nd. Chinese driver had a pretty good Bathurst. That was one of his best results of the season, looking to keep that momentum going, as he's down in 21st in the championship and 22nd in the race. Mario Marin starting P23 right now. Marin, the Spanish driver, the rookie driving the McLaren, is down in 23rd. I do believe I saw him towards the bottom of the championship. Yeah, he only has 26 points to his name, so he's looking to improve that. Once again, like some of the other guys towards the back of the grid, you're going to have to make his way up the field, so we'll see what the Spanish driver can do. John Climbs in the Porsche. The only Porsche on the grid is starting P24. 25th is Tobias Gerhardt. We saw him involved in a few accidents at Bathurst, but he was able to carry on for most of that race, so that Audi took a beating, but he's back again 2 weeks later here at Imola, so we'll see what kind of action he can bring us. Frank Pedrozzini, I will get that last name right, starting P26, also in an Audi. And then making up the final row of the grid, we got Grigor Stangert, who did switch cars. He's starting in the Ferrari, so alongside Shooter 80 in that other BMW on the grid. So there is your 28-car grid for this race. Now it's looking to give us plenty of action as they currently go into Sector 3 right now. They're currently going through Acqui Minerale. I'm going to try not to slaughter these corner names, so I'd rather get them right and slaughter them. So they're currently going through that section of the track, which is labeled as Sector 3. So let me just make sure I write down the sector marks on my track map, so that way I don't make any mistakes going through. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Alrighty. Yeah, it looks like the start-finish line is actually a little farther up for where my track map that it gave me is, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. So as the drivers currently go through turn 16 now towards the front, but then in the back they're going through Variante Alta, which is probably one of the harder parts of the track. It's a pretty, it's a pretty tight chicane. So not sure where the ideal overtaking zones are. I mean, as you can see on the mini map, going into turn 2 in Variante Tamburello, even though it's a higher speed chicane, coming off of a pretty long straight, so that might be a good overtaking spot. Variante Alta is very tight, but you keep a decent amount of speed through there, so that might be tricky. But maybe out through Variante Villeneuve or maybe into Ravaz or something, some of these drivers might be able to make something work. But now they're currently coming up to the line. We're waiting for the green lights to go on and this 1 hour long race to be underway. Right now, Connor Wright, Gillian Hardenberg leading the field as the drivers go 60 to 70 kilometers per hour right now, coming up to the line. When will the lights go green?
Green light.
And that moment is now. Go, go, go. We are underway here at Imola. Tom Raher's got a very good start. He's up behind Connor Wright, who got a pretty slow start. Gillian Hardenberg's up into the lead right now. We'll have to see going into turn 2, very onto turn Barilla. Connor Wright's able to hold the inside line and actually shoot himself all the way up ahead of Gillian Hardenberg, who's currently sitting in second. Raher's up to third, or sorry, Latz is up. No, that's Bauer up into third, who's demoted Raher and Latz as the timing board decides to figure itself out. Looks like Latz got a pretty poor start. He's down to 5th. Ole Pitchit's on the move up to P6. Sir Williams down to 7th. Dejan Milicic in at P8. As we see, it looks like Tosa right there turned 7. Tosa's looking like a very interesting spot to make overtakes. It's Alexander Irish going side by side with, I believe that's Andy Vandervelde, and Vandervelde will have the position up the inside of Alexander Irish. But in the background, you can see James Calley. He's going side by side with Nuri Conjuglu, and James Calley is going to have the position on Nuri. And then up ahead, Alexander Irish is looking very out of sorts right now. He's going to fall under pressure to Alex Torregrossa. No, that's not Torregrossa. That's Vulcan. As you check, and Vulcan's looking to keep the pressure on the McLaren driver up ahead. But back towards the front right now, this nice camera shot of going into Variante Alta. Gillian Hardenberg's under a lot of pressure from Florian Bauer now. Bauer's going to go to the right-hand side of the track, outside line into Ravaza, and Bauer, they're going wheel to wheel, a little bit of bumping there. They're getting a little argy-bargy out, and Hardenberg's going to go up the inside and keep the position just barely, but he's looking a little slow in this opening lap of the race. Got Bauer and Raher all over his rear end, and then a huge train of cars behind them. So Hardenberg needs to get the move on, as Wright has got almost a second cleared on these guys right now, battling for P2, almost 2 seconds clear. That is absolutely insane. But Bauer's going to go to the right-hand side of the track. Right here's going to look to see if he can get the drive from the left. Now Bauer's going to the left-hand side. Will he try to go to the inside of Variante Tamburella? No, but Hardenberg's going to lock up and go way too deep. That's going to open the door for Bauer, but Bauer's all in the rear end of him going through turn 4, and it looks like they'll hold position for now, but Hardenberg is just a block in the road, which has freed up Connor Wright massively. He's now 3 seconds ahead, but we got tons of battling here for P2 as Hardenberg is holding up Bauer right here, Latz, Pitchich, and the rest of them. In the background, you can see Alexander Irish. No, that was not Irish, that was Vulcan. As he checked going off the track and making a mistake, and now he's fallen into the clutches of James Calley and the rest of them, as there's a second huge cluster here. And it looks like Dakuza is going side by side with Nuri Conjuglu. They're going into Variante Alta though. Yes, I believe they're going through, no they're not, sorry. They're going through Aquimirale. I will get that right one of these days, but Nuri is going to still go side by side and will take the inside line. Back up towards the front, Hardenberg is still holding up the group. Ole Pitchich looking very racy behind, and Dennis Latz will go on board with him as they go through Variante Alta now. Pitchich not close enough to make the move on Dennis Latz this time. So, and yes, that is a 650S in the back. Marlon Andrade has the nerve to race in that car this season, and he's done pretty good so far. But let's now go back up towards Florian Bauer, who's still on the rear end of Hardenberg. He's pushing him through Ravaza once again, but Hardenberg gets a good launch out of 18, and that as they come through 19 and across the start-finish line, he seems to have enough of a gap over Bauer at this time. So now, but Connor Wright has got 3.2 seconds clear. He is gone. He put the rocket boosters on and said, see you later in these opening laps. But Hardenberg once again going very deep through Variante Tamburella. And now through turn 4, can Bauer get the run he needs into Variante Villeneuve, which is turns 5 and 6. He's going to go to the right-hand side of the track, try to brake later and go around the outside. He's got the inside line for turn 6. And there's a little bit of contact there as Bauer pushes Hardenberg off the track a little bit there. Hardenberg's going to lose a handful of positions as Bauer is up to P3. Oh, and there's contact. Dennis Latz is around. I'm not sure if Pitchis ran into the rear end of him, but Dennis Latz was facing the wrong way. He's able to escape without getting any more damage. Sir Williams also ran off the track there. And now Hardenberg is currently sitting in front of what looked like Connor Wright, but it was not. Let's see what happens when the Delta's up there. No, he's in front of Rhea Aubie. So Rhea is up to P5. Turkish driver having a fantastic start. Only Pitchich down at 6 after that what I assume to be contact with Dennis Latch is now way down the order, down in P19. But Ole Pitchich now under very much a lot of pressure from Dejan Milicic and a huge train behind going all the way back to Sir Williams in P11. So that little bit of a collision causing a lot of chaos. So these cars have to be very careful with their overtakes because, as we saw with Bauer, you know, he Probably took a little bit of side pod damage. Hardenberg went off the road, and it kind of started a little bit of a mess behind them as drivers tried to find room to make overtakes. So, but yes, we'll have to see what happens for the rain. As you look at 30 minutes from now, it's going to be increasing levels of rain. So not only is it going to start out as like a light rain, it's going to get heavier. So the question is, when drivers coming for the pit stops, will they put on dry tires that are designed for a slick track, or will they go for the wet tires early and just duke it out and wait till it stays wet and it gets worse? So we'll have to keep an eye on the weather. But we got 54 minutes left in this race and plenty of action still left to go. Plenty of action's already started in this race. Let's take a look at Dennis Latz right now. He's running down P19 all over the rear end of Pasquale Di Lucia. We saw him round, but he's not looking like he has too much visual damage on that Ferrari behind him. Jay Fang and Mario Marin were battling for 21st as Fang comes out the victor there ahead of Marin. A little farther back, Chris Jones has dropped to P25, and Shooter all the way in the back in P28. Him and Grieger Stangert must have made a mistake because they're way off the field right now. But who's way out in front, you may ask? Conor Wright, almost 5 seconds ahead of Florian Bauer. Wright is in his own space right now, just driving away in the Aston Martin. We'll have to see if his car has been set up for the wet weather or not. So plenty of racing left to go, but right now looking like the class of the field. Let's take a look. Is there any other battling going on? It looks like Pitchich still in 6th. These cameras like to take a wild update, it seems, which is not really that ideal. But Pitchich now running in 6th position. He's gapped Milicic behind him a little bit. He's still got a second to catch up to Aubie ahead. Aubie, the Turkish driver, continuing to pressure. Actually, Aubie got ahead of Gillian Hardenberg. Hardenberg's down to P5 now, as Reyes up to P4. I'm not sure if that move was into Ravazza or if it was through Variante Alta. But Rhea Aubie up to P4 now and sniffing a podium position in their second race. So great driving so far by the Turkish driver. You know, making the move on Hardenberg, and is up now into P4. Hardenberg there finally getting the line right through Variante Tamburella, as Hardenberg in previous laps was just going too deep, which kept opening the door for the cars behind. So yes, Hardenberg making a mistake once again, going through Variante Villeneuve. It looks like he was going to lose another position to Ole Pitchich now. He's got to defend the inside, going through Toza. Pitchich trying to go around the outside of Hardenberg, who's looking a little slow there. But Hardenberg with the inside line there will hold on to the position. But on the exit, Pitchich is actually going to be under pressure from Dejan Milicic now. Milicic going on the right-hand side of the track, but he's going to back out of it at the last second, going through turn 8. And now as they go through Piratella, Milicic will sit behind Pitchich for now. The Ukrainian keeping behind the German driver in there. And Alex Torgrosa sniffing at the rear end in P8, and Sir Williams, who's dropped off a little bit, might have a tad damage from his that little wreck with Hardenberg and Latz, currently sitting in 9th. Speaking of Latz, he's up to 17th. He's made some moves so far, as it looks like around him. Yes, he is currently trying to battle Alexander Irish. He's actually around Alexander Irish. He's just falling backwards right now. Irish, he started around the top 10, you know, is all the way down into 18th. You know, he's not having a good, or 17th, sorry. He's not having a good race at all. He's going to try to bring it back to Dennis Latz going into Ravazza. He's going to go to the right-hand side of the track. Can that BMW find the grip around the outside? Dennis Latz is going to say no, sir. He's just going to zoom off going into turn 18, and Latz will have that position secured for now. Neri Kondragaloo is the next target for Latz as he works on his recovery drive. Irish giving him a little bit of the flashers, letting him know he's still there and not too happy with that move through Ravazza. It doesn't look like Latz is going to yield. Now Irish all over the rear end of Latz. He's got way less downforce on that BMW. He's going to go to the right-hand side of the track, going into Variante Tamburella, but Latz is able to brake later and once again holds onto the position. Now Irish has got to be careful. He's got Marlon Andrade in the background. Irish looks like Latz looks like he's got a little bit of suspension damage. His car is rocking a lot, so keep an eye on that, as far as looking like it's a little everywhere. And he's got Alexander Irish, who's definitely making his life uncomfortable right now. So keep an eye on Latz's progress back through the field, as he looks very quick in qualifying and quick at the start of this race. Up towards the front, Ole Pitchich, currently still under pressure from Dejan Milicic as they go through Acqui Minerale, but Pitchich has just enough of speed out of Piratella to stay in front of Milicic for now, but Milicic is looking like the faster driver out of the two of them. The German trying to overtake the Ukrainian in second in the championship. Up ahead, Hardenberg has fallen off of Ray Aubie and is starting to fall once again into the clutches of Ole Pitschich. So Hardenberg really struggling. It seemed like he had a really good quali pace, but I guess his car hasn't been as designed for the race so far. Could be wet weather designed car now, so we can't count him out just yet. But so far in the dry, he hasn't looked like the same guy we saw in qualifying. But a little in front of him now, Bauer actually has been overtaken by Tom Ray here. We missed this overtake. I do apologize, but Ray here now is up into second place. The Ferrari making the move on his fellow countrymen for P2. So the Ferrari threw on the Mercedes, and now it's an Aston Martin, Ferrari, Mercedes 1, 2, 3, with Connor Wright still miles ahead of the two of them. So we'll see if Ray here can close up on Wright. It's a 5.5 second gap at the end of sector 1. So keep an eye on that delta for now, because we'll have to wait and see if these two can catch up to Wright. So, but they have most certainly pulled away from Ray Aubie. He's now 3.1 behind. So I think the Turkish driver made a little bit of a mistake there in sector 1, because Hardenberg has closed up a bit after Aubie was 1.3 seconds ahead, I believe. So keep an eye on the progress of the top 4. Let's go back through the grid right now. There's a lot of really close battles. It looks like James Cowley is on the rear end of Sir Williams. Yeah, he's caught up to this train of cars with Alex Torregrossa, DJ Milicic, and led by Ole Pitschich, which is now soon to be led by Gillian Hardenberg, who's fallen off enough. So, and there's Vulcan, as you check, is not far behind in P11. So these guys are all running within a second of each other. But unlike Formula 1 racing, these cars do not get DRS, so they're going to have to make the overtakes all on their own. Not that these cars really need that advantage anyways. So, but yeah, that 650S, it's the surprising thing about it is he started in the top 10 and was battling almost for a podium at Monza, but I don't know what he did to that car. His Cowley's really sliding his way through Basel right now. But that 650S, it's good enough for him. And he's made it work so far. Let's actually take a good look at Mariano Andrade sitting down in P18. The Brazilian now behind Irish, as Latz has gapped Irish by a second now. Andrade really struggling to make his way through the field with that 650S, but still a very nice liveried car, and he's still making it work. So good job for him. We'll see what he can do as the rain starts to come. The rain is now, it's been within 10 minutes for the next few minutes, so the rain should come here in these next few minutes. So it's about to get really spicy, folks. And we're about to see who's got the right setups for the wet. As it looks like there's issue. Ole Pitschich, he's down the order. What happened to him? He's currently in 15th. Let's look at the replay. Pitschich now, he was in 15th. He was running P6. He was side by side with Hardenberg, and oh, Hardenberg sent him off. They made contact into the braking zone of Variante Tamburello, and Pitschich lost almost a dozen positions as a result. The Ukrainian driver must not be happy with Hardenberg, as now he's going to fall way down the order, and he's got a lot of progress to do if he wants to make his way back to the grid. So he's all the way down by the likes of Neri Konjoglu, Samir Foch, and Alexander Irish. So, and he's got Dennis Latz now for company. So Latz looking at Pitschich after the issues. There it is, folks. There's the rain. Now, as we see, as we watch Dennis Latz and Ole Pitschich now going into Variante Alta. The rain is here, and it is coming fast. This rain is not going to prove as the track is already greened. It was fast. Now it's greened as both Irish and Andrade are struggling. Let's look at the leaders right now. You know, they struggling. Excuse me. Because like Bauer's lost a little bit of time to Ray here. They're already using their wipers. Will anyone come into the pits at this point? I doubt it. But the track's already greasy. Look at that, folks. The track went from fast to green to greasy in the span of a minute. The rain is coming down like cats and dogs right now. It's got the plus sign next to the 10-minute and the 30-minute mark. So it's going to get worse and worse as Cowley and Vulcan come together into Variante Tamburello. Vulcan was way off the track. He's going to have to use the gravel to get back on. But the two of them coming side by side into each other, similar to what we saw happen before with Gillian Hardenberg and Ole Pitschich making the same mistake. We have a car in the pits. It's Mario Marin. He's decided he's had enough. He might be putting on tires designed for the wet. Not sure, but Ole Pitschich now way down the field again. He must have had another moment as he's now down in 23rd. The Ukrainians day going bad to worse. Now his car is just not working for him at all right now, so it's horrible to see that happen to him. Towards the front, Connor Wright still has 5.7 seconds on right here. And the British driver still trying to run away, but you can see he's slowing down a decent amount with this rain. Not really using his wiper at the moment, so he might not be using the cockpit cam, he might be using the hood cam. But Connor right now still leading the field, but all the action is currently in the middle of the field right now. We're looking at D'Acusa. Let's go on board with him, as that was the first driver to hit. You can see he's sliding everywhere. You know, he almost slid off the road there coming out to Variante Alta. And D'Acusa now able to recover. You can see now the camera's on the left-hand side since it's the right cockpit's on the right-hand side of that car. But, you know, those wipers are going like crazy as the rain is really coming down. Paulo Lima is looking very squirmy up ahead. Is anyone in the pits? Yes, we got lots of cars into the pits. Our race leader is not into the pits apparently. He stayed out, but everyone behind him, Ray here, Bauer, Ray Aubrey, Gillian Hardenberg, Dejan Milicic, D'Acusa, all into the pits. A lot of drivers coming in for a fresh set of tires. Will they go for wet tires or will they go for another set of dries that are greasy? I mean, the rain is really coming now, so I'll have to keep an eye on it. We're looking at Rayer in the pits. A bunch of other cars came into the pits right now, like Frank Pedrozzini, Pasquale Di Lucia's into the pits, Zada, Marlon Andrade, Nuri Conjuglu. So almost half the field's in the pits. Grigo Stangrit as well. So drivers know the rain is going to get worse. So remember, before the pits, Connor Wright had 5.7 seconds ahead. He's currently got a lapped car of, I believe that is Mario Marin in his rearview mirror. Not sure what tire Marin's got on. Those kind of look like they could be wet tires. I wish I got that information here on my screen, but yeah, it's hard. It's impossible for me to tell at this time. Drivers now, Bauer has made his pit stop. Will he come out ahead of Ray here? Rayer's leaving the pits right now. It says Bauer's ahead. No, Bauer's really far behind. Ray here had a heck of a stop. I don't know what happened, but Bauer just got a stop-go 30-second time penalty. He must have sped into the pits. So Bauer, who was looking to have a very good race, now has to come in and stop again. So Bauer's got to be fuming in the cockpit, while Ray here, on the other hand, has absolutely cleared the field by miles. So not sure what exactly he did in the pits, but he has gapped the field by a huge margin. He's got 21 seconds. Oh, there's Bauer. He's into the wall. Bauer must have made a mistake coming out of Variante Tamburella, as he's not in the Variante build. There he is going through Tamburella. He just straight up loses the rear end coming out of turn 4. Actually, no, that might be out of Variante Villeneuve. No, that was Tamburella. Completely lost the rear end, cut part of the track. Frank Pedrozzini also has a stop-go time penalty behind him. But Bauer with a hard lick into the wall. That's not going to help his day at all. Sir Williams stays out on track. He's still out on those dry tires. I think he's waiting for it to go even more wet so he can go wet tires. Connor Wright is into the pits. Alex Torgross into the pits. James Cali, Paulo Lima, Chris Jones, all into the pits. Staying out is also Vulcan, Dennis Latt, Samir Foch, Irish, Fang, and Gerhardt. So I'm keeping an eye on Ray here now. Ray here's coming up to Rivazza. How far behind will he be of Connor Wright? Not sure what Ray here did in the pits to like get so far ahead. He's 9 seconds clear of Abbey, which is a lot farther than what he was before. Looking at right now, looking at Ray here still, but where is Connor Wright? Connor Wright's leaving the pits. We don't see Ray here just yet in the background, but Wright's still going to have a nice little gap to the Ferrari behind. So Wright will retain the lead once everyone comes into the pits, but the problem is we don't know what tires these guys are on. I would assume they went to wet tires now, but if they went for, because the track is now damp, yes, so the track is definitely looking to be wet. James Cali gets a stop-go 30-second time penalty. He's the third driver to get that penalty already from speeding into the pits. The cars must be having trouble to slow down entering the pit lane. So that's going to hurt a lot of people's progress, as it looks like Bauer's into the pits to serve his stop-go. Frank Pedrozzini also into the pits to serve his penalty. Vanderbilt is still into the pits, and Shooter in the pits still as well. Towards the front right now, current race leader is Sir Williams, the American, leading his first laps of the season. Now, he's not pitted yet. He's into the pits now. It's a damp track, so he's probably going to want to put on the wet tires now. Question is, was staying out that much longer, was that good for his net position? Vulcan, as you check, Dennis Latz is staying out, actually. So Latz They decided it's not time yet for the wet tires. The 58 car is off in turn 1. That's Andy Vandervelde. He is in the gravel, so he's got to be very careful rejoining, as Lats, our current race leader, you know, still out on track. He's one of 2 guys not to pit. Jan Climbs currently coming out of Ravazza now. We'll see if they dive into the pits. The 22 car is leaving the pits. That is Bauer, so he has served his start go. He's currently a lap down, unfortunately, but he'll be on the lead lap once Lats pits. So yes, it climbs at the pits. So Lats is the only one not to pits. Not sure what his strategy is here. He's come up on Vandervelde, who spun, and Vandervelde gives him plenty of room. Lats is on dry tires. He started on them, and he's still on them. Question is he going to go to like the 30-minute mark and just put on wet tires? Does he assume that some of these guys are on dry still? Not sure. The track is damp. The track is not wet, though. So wet tires may not be the move. So if he put higher tire pressures to start, you know, it might be a little more comfortable for him right now than it was at the start of the race. As he goes a little sliding off there, as Bauer is round once again, but more importantly, Lats slid off there through Acqui Minerale. Bauer is back on track. He went off going into Tosa, so his Mercedes is just not liking the rain. So clearly he had dry paces. He yields for his friend Tom Ray here, who is now a lap ahead of him completely. Ray here on the rear end of Connor Wright, currently sitting 2nd and 3rd. Ray is able to close 3 seconds up on the British driver through the pit window. But I think what's more important now is we're going to keep it on Dennis Lats. He's got 2/3 of a sector clear on Wright. So if he stays out until the track goes fully wet, you know, and some of these guys aren't on wet tires, he might be pulling a masterclass right now, as now he goes into the pits. So I take back what I was saying. Lats is into the pits. He's the last driver to pit. Sir Williams, it says, didn't pit, but we saw him come into the box. He's currently out in P4, so not sure why it says he didn't box, but the American running P4, battling for P5 side by side with Rhea Aubrey, is going to lose the position to Rhea through Variante Alta. Sir Williams down to P5 now after getting overtaken. Now we've got Hardenberg in the rear end. Hardenberg, see what kind of pace he has in the wet. So he was struggling a bit now. Lats in the pits. He stopped, currently changing tires. I would assume what I would presume to be the wet tires, as the rains continue to get worse and worse as the time progresses on. So we should be on a wet track very soon, folks. But Connor Wright has retaken the lead officially now. He's currently P1 with 37 minutes left to go. Our pole sitter looking to lead from start to finish, barring the pit window. But he's got Tom Ray here looking mighty quick in the background. And then behind them is Florian Bauer, who is unfortunately no longer on the lead lap. We got a car off in the start of Sector 3. That's the number 34 car of Tobias Gerhardt. He is off going through Acqui Minerale, which seems to be very tricky for some of these drivers. Let's see where Lats is going to come out. He was, like we saw, he was running back in the middle of the field after his thing, as it looks like Alexander Irish has made the undercut work on him. Lats is going to get passed by Vulcan and another McLaren. I don't believe that's Andrade. That's not Andrade. But we'll see when Lats comes to the sector mark. We'll see how far down he has dropped. He's not by, like, Sir Williams is now into the pit. So I guess whatever Sir Williams did when he came into the pits prior, it didn't count as a pit stop. So not sure if he just didn't do a tire change or what. But he's got to come in again to get that pit stop cleared so he can carry on racing. But back towards the front right, you can see Bauer struggling in the background. Ray here starting to close in on Wright. Right here's got a car that's designed for the wet, it seems. As Bauer goes way off in the background. Callie is still not served to stop go, so the Lexus driver still has to come into the pits and serve that. He's going to fall way back from P7, as that's Dejan Milicic off the track. Another victim to Acqui Minerale, as that part of the track seems to be horrible for some of these drivers. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not driven this track on this game, so I don't know what's so hard about some parts of the track, but that part of the track right there looks like drivers cannot get any grip on entry. They look like they lose it entering it, and then they just go way too deep on the apex, and they just go sliding off. But thankfully, there's not a wall immediately there, as Milicic loses a few positions. Torgrosa up into P5 now. So he's having a very good drive. Haven't seen him towards the front in a while, but he's still got a ways to go if he wants to catch up to Hardenberg and then Rhea Aubrey up ahead. So a podium is not out of the question, but Torgrosa is going to have to find some more time as the track continues to get worse. But, speaking of getting worse, is doing the opposite of that. Not James Cowley. Marlon Andrade is who we're trying to talk about. Andrade up to P8. He started towards the back, and there was comments how, he's that 650S. It's pretty slow in a straight line, but he is making it work. He's already in the top 10. The Brazilian up 12 positions. He's doing a fantastic job today. And he's trying to hunt down Paulo Lima, who's only a second ahead. So he's got a top 7 in his sights. Miltic is only 2.3 ahead of Lima, so he could get into the top 6. Now, Miltic is very far behind Torregrossa, as we can see Neri Conjuglu off in the background. So Andrade has a shot of getting more positions, but he's going to have to really make this wet weather work. As you can see now in the 30-minute mark from now, so for the last few laps of the race, it's going to be very heavy rain. You can see it's the double dots for the raindrops, excuse me, and it's going to be pouring like cats and dogs at the end of this race, even more so than it is now. So this rain is going to go from bad to worse. Thankfully, no thunderstorms for these guys, but still, you don't want to be dealing with that either way. Dennis Latz currently behind Vulcan, and I believe that's Mario Marin battling for P13 ahead. Let's get a nice onboard view of it. Latz is looking to pounce on any mistakes. The two of them going side by side ahead into Variante Alta. Marin going up the inside of Vulcan. He's going to make slight contact on the apex. Vulcan's going to get a compromised exit. Can Latz, is this his opportunity to make the move on the Mercedes driver? It doesn't really look like it. Look at the helicam as they're barely separated. He's got Samir Faucher in the background as well. Latch looking to break a lot later than Vulcan, trying to go around the outside to turn 17 as they go through Ravazza, but there's no room there at all as Ravazza got to use all of the curb to get the best line, as now coming out of 18 through 19. They will hold position. Marin is up to 13th, Vulcan down to 14th. So another guy looking at Neri Conjuglu is now pressuring Dakuza going into turn 2. They're going to go side by side. Will Neri have the position before the turn? And yes, Neri is up to P9, Dakuza down to P10. The Bentley not having enough straight line speed or patience in the wet weather. It looked like for a second there it wasn't raining anymore, but don't worry, folks. It is still pouring like crazy. In the background, Pasquale Di Lucia is pressuring Alexander Irish, or under pressure from Irish. Two of them were going side by side going into Variante Villeneuve. Now going into Tosa, Di Lucia has the inside line, which is definitely the favorable line through the corner, and Di Lucia will hold on to P11. Irish in P12. Irish looking like he's got a wet weather setup on his car because he was very slow in the dry period, but now that they're in the wet, his BMW is working very well for him as we come towards the halfway point in the race. Marin down in 13th, right behind Irish. So they've got a four-way battle here for 10th position, and everyone I'm sure would love to get that. So there's a car off. The number 3 car is off the track. That is Frank Pedrozzini, just not too far up ahead of the guys battling. There's Dejan Milicic off the track once again. That may open up the room for Paulo Lima to start catching up to him. Lima under pressure from Andrade, and Andrade's going to go round the outside of the exit of Variante Alta. So looked like Milicic and Lima both had poor exits, and now Andrade is up to P7 and Lima down to P8. Back to the battling in the background, Dakuza is falling victim to Mario Marin, who made a move. There's Pasquale Di Lucia, who's got Vulcan pressuring him right now. Yes, Irish and Di Lucia have gotten around, no, not Di Lucia. Irish and Marin have gotten around Dakuza. Behind them, Di Lucia is battling Vulcan. Excuse me, tripping on my own words right now. Di Lucia in 13th. Now 14th as Vulcan's going around the outside. Dennis Latz in the background. Chris Jones has joined the fight as well. His Lamborghini working in the wet weather. Will Latz go to make it 3 wide going into turn 2? No. But Di Lucia goes way off the track, completely cuts turn 3. And he's going to come back battling Vulcan. He's probably going to have to yield the position because that was a very naughty thing to do, just go off the track because, you know, you missed your braking. As Vulcan will have the position, Dennis Latz dives it up the inside. Oh, and the two of them go round. Latz is spinning once again. He takes Di Lucia with him as he tried to go up the inside where there really wasn't any room. And Latz and Di Lucia both pay the price there. But the victors of that are Samir Fauch and Chris Jones, who have been promoted to 14th and 15th. So it's unfortunate to see Latz go around like that. So his day's gone downhill after he was starting to climb through the grid once again. So it's not what you want to see in that battle. But it looks like Mario Marin is not a name we've talked about a lot this season. He's really having a drive for his life right now. You know, he's currently P11. He's only got 26 points to his name. but P11 will double that total for sure. So the Spaniard having a phenomenal day. He's trying to keep up with Irish, who's looking very quick in the wet weather. Irish's BMW is most certainly wet weather designed, as he is just flying right now on this damp track. It's not wet, just damp, unfortunately. So, but I'm waiting for it to go wet, you know, to bring more chaos. But I'm assuming everyone's on the wet weather tires. You know, everyone's led by Connor right now as we're at the halfway point in the race. Wright is lapping Sir Williams, who had to come in for that second pit stop. So not sure what happened on his first one. We got James Cowley, who had to stop go. It's in the rearview mirror. So that's unfortunate for Cowley. But Wright currently gapping Rayer by 3.35 seconds. So the British driver is starting to pull away from the German, who had a really good pit window, but the German's fallen off a little bit, but hasn't really fallen clutch to Rhea Arby, because in the last lap, Wright did a 147.64, Rayer did a 148.6, Rhea here did a 148.4. So Hardenberg is closing in Arby by 0.4 a lap. So we might see these two battle for the final podium position in the coming laps, but at the moment, the Turkish drivers looking pretty quick and trying to hold up the Dutch driver in tow. Torgrosa sitting in P5 right now. He is about matching the Turkish driver ahead. So he's kind of in no man's land doing his own thing. Got number 7 Mercedes, a nice pink livery Mercedes, I must say. It's a very nice car to look at on the grid, very aesthetically pleasing. But currently in no man's land, basically doing hot laps, but you can't complain if you're sitting P5, so Torgrosa, I'm sure, is enjoying this good running so far, but we still have a lot of racing to go. Dejan Militic in P6 now. He's got Andrade only 3.7 behind him. There was a bigger gap before, but now Andrade's starting to close up, but Andrade's got to be careful because Alexander Irish is now 1.6 behind the Brazilian, as Paulo Lima has dropped all the way to P10. Nuri Conjuglu is up ahead in P9. So Lima's car not designed for the wet weather at all, it seems. So, but Andrade, while he's trying to run down higher up, he's rear end sliding a bit, and then Irish in the background just got much better grip on the exit of Ravaza, and now it looks like Irish is going to be within a second of the Brazilian as they come across the line. Oh yeah, he's 0.6. He gained almost a second in a sector there. Irish is flying. What was Irish's last lap? It was a 148.2. So he's kind of matching the leader's pace. Ray Aubrey actually did a 149.3. So he had a really slow lap. But Irish here did a 148.22. Andrade did a 150.2. So Irish is matching the pace of the guys up at the front of the field. He's got a, oh, he's going to go up the inside, going into turn 2, and now try to go around the outside through the end of Variante Tamburella, but he's going to get a little squeezed off the track. He had the room there, but just didn't have it. And actually, that wasn't Tamburella, that was Variante Villeneuve. He's going to lose position to Nuri Conjuglu and fall into P8, but now it's Nuri's turn to make the move on Andrade. Can Nuri get up to the rear end of Andrade, who's looking really slow all of a sudden? The Brazilian, whose car was working at the start of this wet weather period, but now has kind of fallen off a bit. Conjuglu running in a P7 at the moment. We'll update on our screen left momentarily. Let's see how much he can gain. Andrade's kind of sliding. He's really sliding a lot. His car is not looking comfortable at all as he goes through Equity Miranale. And now Conjuglu's on the rear bumper of Andrade. He's gaining a lot. Will he dive up the inside of Variante Alta? He knows that the McLaren ahead is struggling a lot. Not going to make the move on the inside. Conjuglu doesn't really get a better exit this time around than Andrade. And Conjuglu's kind of going to hold position for now. So these two looking to battle as Conjuglu is looking to capitalize on any mistake made by Andrade or any sliding of that McLaren. But Andrade seems to have stabilized his car a bit. Conjuglu losing the rear end there before entering turn 18 and now exiting Ravaza and running up to the line. Conjuglu looking to still make that overtake happen. So as you can see from the helicam, this battle, I mean, these cars are only like 3 car lengths apart, and Conjuglu is closing by a lot. Can Conjuglu make the move into Variante Tamburella? Going to switch to the left-hand side of the track, but thinks better of it for now. Was not close enough for the move, but can Conjuglu possibly make the move into Variante Villeneuve? He's got 2 car length gap to close up now. He's not really gaining enough to really like set it up the inside, so he's going to kind of hold on for now. But he's got to be careful because Alexander Irish is in the background. Once again, that BMW is just cruising right now as Irish looking to make a double overtake on this lap as he's completely caught up to Conjuglu. Irish getting very good traction on the exit of Toza, and now going into Piratella. Can he get the run to make the move? Irish is going to switch to the left-hand side. He's going to think better of it, hit the grass a little bit. He's able to brake a lot later than Conjuglu there, but not late enough to make the move. So we've got a three-way battle going on for 6th position. Andrade trying to gap the two behind him who are much closer than he is. But now as they go through the exit of Aqui Minerale, Andrade is keeping his car very stable. So it's a very impressive job keeping that McLaren 650S around. And yeah, he's definitely pulling some heroics, that's for sure, keeping that car as fast as he is. And that's part of why he wanted. He wanted the challenge of the season, which is why he chose the 650S. And it's currently making it work for him. So, but now let's keep an eye on Irish. Now he's gaining on Conjuglu a lot. He already showed he could brake a lot later. So now they go into Ravaza. Will Irish try to make the move up the inside? No, not yet. But can Irish get a better run on the exit perhaps and try to make the move into Variante Tamburello? Maybe even make a double overtake since it looks like Andrade does not have a lot of straight line speed in that 650. Keep what the hell he can for now, since it's giving us a very good bird's eye view. There's Irish. He's within a car length. He's most certainly going to try to make the move going to Tamburello. He's going to go to the left-hand side of the track. Irish braking way later than Conjuglu and will perfectly make the apex. Irish is up to P7. What a move by the now BMW driver, as he's got one car of two taken care of. So now Irish is going to pressure Andrade as much as he can, which is a tall order. We've seen a lot of... Oh, there's a car off the track in the background. Yeah, that was Vulcan, as you check, completely missing the exit of Variante Villeneuve. Let's go ahead and look at the replay there. Now, oh, he just completely hopped the curb on the entry, went flying off, kept it out of the wall, so he will keep his Mercedes running forward. But that was a nasty hop by his car, as we got Chris Jones off in the background as well. He had a spin through Toza. He was up to P13th, and now he's going to drop way down the order. You know, he was having a fantastic drive in the Lamborghini. He had halved his starting position, but now he's going to drop down the order a bit in that Lamborghini. There's a car off, though, in Ravaza right now. That is Florian Bauer. Won't let me switch to him. It looks like Bauer has decided to retire. So Bauer is done. Gerhardt is returning to the pits. He might be done as well. Yeah, Bauer has decided to retire from the race. So that's unfortunate to see. We are down 3 cars. Who else has retired from this race? Grigo Stangrit is still driving. Dejan Milicic has actually retired. We saw him battling towards the front. He has decided to retire his car. So it's Milicic, Bauer, and Andy Vandervelde. All 3 have retired their cars. So we have 3 retirements so far and 25 drivers remaining, with Gerhardt in the pits probably deciding that his day is basically done. But this man right here, Connor Wright, still flying as fast as ever at the front of the field, doing a fantastic job. The British driver's got 3.8 seconds now to Ray here, and is continuing to pull away from our championship leader, who's currently sitting in P2. Ray Aubie now under heavy pressure from Gillian Hardenberg behind. Let's look at that rear bumper, that rear spoiler rather, and you can kind of see Hardenberg over that spoiler. Not really that well. It's probably be better to, you know, hop on board with Hardenberg in the background. Yeah, that's probably a much better. You can see Hardenberg's wipers going like crazy. So they kind of tiptoe their way through Variante Alta. Aubie got a very good run through the corner, and now was able to gap. There was like only a car length between the two of them, and now there's like 7 or 8. So that run that Aston Martin's able to get through 14 and 15 is probably what's going to keep him ahead at this time. But the two of them are still miles behind right here in the leaders. But Hardenberg got a very good run out of Ravaza, so still can't be counted out. In the background, it looks like that's D'Cusa. Not sure. I'm not sure when he came into the pits, but he is now a lap down as well. So we got a handful of cars not on the lead lap anymore. So you look at Connor Wright right now is going through Tosa. The last car on the lead lap is Jan Climbs right now in his Porsche in no man's land, running P20. And once again, the only Porsche on the grid, but it's a nice purple liveried Porsche. And Jan Climbs still doing a very good job at the moment. But let's go back up and look Irish has cleared Andrade. We did miss that overtake, unfortunately, and he's now cruising. He was about 20 seconds behind Torregrossa, briefly. Because now Andrade is not even going to try to go defensive on Eric Conjugal. He knows that the Aston Martin is much quicker. He's just going to try to stick with them. Andrade has dropped to P8 now, so he's been overtaken by both Irish and Conjugal. But running P8 after starting outside the top 20, still a very good job by the Brazilians so far. And I can do interviews post-race if drivers want. So, but if a driver does not want to interview, there's no need for it. No worries. So, yes, the rain here is coming down, and it's continuing to get worse here as we look at Andrade's McLaren. Let's go back up to Hardenberg, because he's still closing up on him. But yeah, he's all over the rear end of the Turkish driver ahead. But once again, it looks like he's not really close enough to make the overtake, as they both pass Callie in the background, who's now a lap down. And Hardenberg into Ravazza now. Let's go on board with him once again. He's all over the rear end now of the Aston Martin. Can he get a good enough launch here out of 18? Yeah, it's a pretty good launch. He's going to gain a decent amount. They're both hugging that white line. I guess that's the fastest line around here, even with the water on the track. But now Hardenberg trying to gain down the front straight on Ray Aubrey. That Aston Martin's clearly running low downforce because he's still able to stay ahead. And unfortunately, Hardenberg will stay behind. Now, I'll do post-race interviews. I'll do them post-race. I'm going to focus on the action on track right now. But thank you, though. It's all good. So, appreciate it, and hopefully talk after the race next time. It looks like, yeah, so we still are running 25 drivers on the grid. Was just confirming that right there. Look at Ole Pitchich, our P2 driver in the championship. He's currently running P10 now, as someone up ahead dropped down the order. Mario Martin, who we saw having a pretty good day, is now down in the 12th. Thought it was 13th for a second. But he's dropped down a little bit. Up ahead is Vulcan Azicek, who is still running pretty good. Cars have started to fan out a little bit as they're making mistakes, and the wet weather is really catching out some of these guys. Dennis Latz is one of the people who's been caught out several times. Yeah, currently running in 15th behind Shooter, who Shooter actually started P28. He's up to 14th, so Shooter's having a phenomenal day as he scoots his way through the field. And he's currently looking to continue to improve on that, but he's got some pretty fast cars behind him. We know Latz, DeLucia, and Chris Jones, all of them running towards the front. Sir Williams, who is a lap down, he was running in the top 5 at one point. So still drivers fast behind him, but Shooter is making it work into P14. So BMW is looking very good in this wet weather, but if he's going to run in the grass like that, it's not going to help at all. So hopefully Shooter eliminates that, and he can hold on. But he's got Latz for company right now behind him. Latz is looking very fast once again. Latz has been in a few incidents, but Latz is still all on the rear bumper of Shooter going to Equi Minerale. As they go through 12 and now 13. Looks like Latz is just not close enough to make the move on the exit of the corner. But Latz still has to be careful because he's got Foch in the rear mirror. And we've seen it from before that if you try to make the move, and Latz has certainly seen this before, but when you try to make the move on the car ahead, you got to account for the car behind as well. Because that car behind might just go for it if you make a mistake. We got another car into the pits, number 44 car of James Cowley. So he is into the pits as well. We got a car off up ahead. That's the number 63 car. Who is that? Not sure who that was. Chris Jones. He was off again once again. It was actually off behind. So Jones making another incident. A little bit of damage on the front end of that Lamborghini. You can see it on the hood, little raise there. So his day was looking pretty good. He was working his way through the field, but now it's gone a little backwards. So we'll keep an eye on Dennis Latz now. He's going to the right-hand side. Will he go for the move on Shooter going into Variante Tamburello? They're going to go side by side. Shooter's going to hug the apex, hop a little bit, and Latz is going to leave him just enough space, but they're still going to be side by side going through turn 4. And now as Latz is into the grass a little bit, that should give Shooter a good enough run into Villeneuve, and Shooter will hold on to the position. So if Latz didn't stay that wide, probably would have been okay, but Shooter's going to lose the rear end on the exit of Villeneuve, and now that's going to compromise his run into Toza. Latz going around the outside Toza. We've not seen this line work all day, but Latz is going to go side by side on the exit, and he's got a very good run, and he's got the position over Shooter. That's the first time we've seen that move work today around the outside of Toza. Latz is up into 14th. Shooter down to 15th. Phenomenal move by Latz as he continues to recover yet again.
No, but up once again, battling for the final podium position is Hardenberg and Aubie. The two of them barely separated by anything, but Hardenberg can't seem to clear this Aston Martin ahead. Aubie is looking to have a brilliant result right now after a brilliant drive in their second race. The Turkish driver doing a phenomenal job of just keeping Hardenberg behind and staying on a very strong pace. We look at previous lap times. Connor Wright did a 148.327. He's currently a race leader. Ray here was 0.2 faster. Ray Aubie was matching that, but it might not matter because now Hardenberg got a very good run out of Toza. He's up on the inside for turn 8, and that'll be the inside for Piratella now, but Ray Aubie is able to brake a lot later, and Hardenberg will back out of it, and Hardenberg holds on to 14th. Looking very squirmy, though, going through 10s, flashing Ray Aubie. I guess he didn't like something that happened there. Not 100% sure what it was, but Hardenberg will stay P4 for now. He got a really good run out of Toza, but I guess decided just better of it for now. So it got 15 minutes left of this race, which still has plenty of time to make the overtake. The two of them got 18 seconds ahead, so it's not like they're trying to run anyone down. But they got to be careful because Toro Grosso is only 8.8 behind. He was a little bit farther behind before. So Toro Grosso has been in no man's land and is starting to close up the gap on these guys. So they have to be very careful with what all they do. Now as they go through Ravaza, Hardenberg once again all over the rear end of Ray Aubie. There's barely a car between the two of them. Hardenberg's certainly going to get a very nice tow down the front straight as they cross the start-finish line now. He's going to have to try to make the move into Variante Tamburello now, but he's not really gaining anything. He's running so much downforce on that Ferrari. He's going to go to the left-hand side of the track. Can he brake later? Oh, yes, he's braking that much later, and he has the position going into turn 2. Hardenberg up into the podium position, but can Aubie haven't run out of turn 4? And not really. Got a really good run out of 3. Aubie thinking about going up the inside, though, with Variante Villeneuve. And he's going to, go into the rear end of Hardenberg, and Hardenberg is round. Oh, that is not good at all. Ray Aubie's going to slow up a lot and let Hardenberg get running again and let Hardenberg keep the position. I'm sure Hardenberg can't be too happy about it, but Aubie did think better of it, and the stewards will probably think kindly of that, considering the fact that he did wait up for Hardenberg so they could continue racing, as Aubie just missed the braking point ever so slightly. Hardenberg went round, but Aubie waits up for Hardenberg, which should make it a little better for them, but the Turkish driver is certainly going to be in the stewards room for that. But, like I was talking about, if there's an incident on track, look in the background, there he is, Alex Torregrossa has all of a sudden entered the chat. He is not too far behind. He's only 2.8 off of Ray Aubie in P4. So Torregrossa gained a lot of time as a result of that. So if these guys keep battling, the Mercedes all of a sudden might be able to have a shout of a podium if he can get the move on. As Hardenberg gets all squirmy through Variante Alta. And it's okay, Simon. You know, we hope to see. Oh, Dacuza's off in the background, completely losing the rear end there, coming out of turn 15. He saves it from the wall, but he was facing the complete wrong direction, so that is unfortunate. It looks like Tobias Gerhardt has retired from the session as well officially. Callie is kind of just sitting in the pit, so his day looks to be done and dusted as well. So it looks like we've got 23 drivers mainly running on track still. One of the faster guys on track right now is Alexander Irish. He's matching the pace of Tom Ray here and Connor Wright, but he's still running in no man's land, so in that BMW of his. We got a car off behind him. It's near the 41 car of Ole Pitchich. There's a car facing the road. Oh no, that's Marlon Andrade. Andrade must have got caught up in an incident there with Ole Pitchich. We saw Pitchich going very slow. Let's take a look at the replay. So they were going side by side. Pitchich once again caught up in an incident. Andrade braking very nicely into Alta, and Pitchich kind of just spins Andrade off the road. Yeah, so it just looks like Andrade kind of just got pushed off the road by Pitchich. Andrade was running in the top 10 and was now facing the wrong direction. Might have stalled that McLaren a little bit. And Andrade still sitting there. He must be fuming in the cockpit. Not sure what's going on there, but the Brazilian, whose day was going fantastic, has had it all but ruined. So that is unfortunate to see, as he's still off in the exit of Variante Alta, where we can see Hardenberg, Aubie, and Torregrossa come through now. So Pitchich will certainly lose a bit of points because of that. So it's unfortunate to see, but the race will go on. There's 10.5 minutes, well, 10.4 minutes. Well, okay, I'm messing up my timing right now. It's 10 minutes, 45 seconds left. I don't know what I'm saying, but that is how much is left in the race. Connor Wright, still our race leader. He's been very dominant so far today. He's got over 6 seconds to Tom Ray here. And the British driver, all he has to do is keep it on track for another 10.5 minutes, and he will have himself his first race victory of the season. Excuse me. It'll be the 4th different race winner of the season. So a fantastic job by Wright. And we'll quickly pull up Frank Pedrozzini as we see some fans of his in the field. He's currently running last place out of the drivers on track. But we have seen 5 retirements today. So there's Andrade, so he's now up to 22nd. But yeah, it looks like Andrade is kind of stuck. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. His car kind of looks like it's lagging or something. He's kind of stalled on the track. He's decided to return to pits. I guess he's given up hope on that. It's not what he wants to see. He might be retiring from the session as well, which could be putting us down to 22 guys very soon. So very unfortunate to see the Brazilian lose out there. But in the meantime, Volkan Azicek currently on the rear end of Paulo Lima. This is the battle for P8. The Mercedes driver has caught up to Lima, who's looked like he's struggling a little bit. But still, Lima's been able to keep it on track, which is part of why he's been in the top 10 so far. But he's got Volkan all up on his rear end now. Can the Mercedes make the move going into Piratella? He's all up on the rear end. He's going to switch to the left-hand side of the track, but come back in tow of Lima at the last second now as they come out of 9 and through 10. But he's looking like he's going to make the move into Qui Minerale. But once again, Lima's covering the line, and Volkan's thinking better of it. He's waiting for a better overtaking spot because, I mean, Piratella, you could make the overtake in, but you carry too much speed, and that certainly compromises the line. But now into the run of Variante Alta. It's a very good overtaking spot we've seen, or at least on the exit perhaps. Can Volkan get a better run? Hard to tell. Looks like Lima got a really good drive out of there. Volkan tried to see if he could assume that Lima would not. But yeah, not sure what happened to Andrade's car there. It was very unfortunate to see. He was having such a good day. So we'll have to see if we can get him back in a post-race interview, or at least get a comment on why he couldn't get running after the race is over. But that was probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But now Volkan's all in the rear end of Lima, though. Once again, battle for P8. You know, there's nothing between the two of them. The Mercedes is going to dip to the left-hand side of the track. They're going to go side by side. He's got the overspeed on the McLaren. They're going to go side by side into Variante Tamburello. Now let's get the helicam view. I think it's going to give us a little better of a shot. They're barely going to avoid contact, and Volkan is up into P8, and Lima's down to P9 with Marin right behind now in P10. Great driving by the both of them to keep it out of each other's side pods. And now Volkan's up to P8. And there's 3 McLarens in a row from 9th to 11th. Unfortunately, none of them's that 650S, but it's a McLaren train forming behind Volkan. But Jay Fang's going to have to close up a bit. Ole Pitch just running in 13th now. See Dennis Latz sliding off the track in front of him. We just caught that at the last second. Latz coming back on track in front of Pitch now. And it looks like Shooter's going to try to make the move into toes on them. I mean, the two of them in front of him, 2 cars in front of him, looking very slow. Shooter up in 14th now, looking to make that 13th now. He's putting Pitch under pressure. We've seen Pitch and Latz both been involved in several incidents today. Shooter, we haven't seen him in any, so that's a damage-free BMW right there. And he's looking actually very quick right now, a lot quicker than he looked before when he was under pressure from Latz. But Shooter's not looking like he can get a good enough run into a Qui Minerale, but now on the exit. Can he get the run he needs into Variante Alta? Not really. So that BMW just not quick enough for him at this time. Let's take a look on the progress of Alex Grossi. He's 2.3 behind Ray Arby, who's now really fallen off. Hardenberg ahead. So another guy who's really fallen off, Tom Ray here. He had a 153.5 last lap. He must have had an off or something. So now he's over 14 seconds behind Connor Wright. So the gap to Hardenberg has fallen a decent amount. But you can see Hardenberg is still going into Piratella on the mini-map. while Ray here is coming out of a Queen Minerale. So several corners between the two of them. Also, another good thing to note now, I just noticed, Andrade has gotten going again. Now he is 4 laps down, unfortunately, but he has decided to carry on driving for the rest of this race. It's good to see the Brazilian finishing out after that really weird incident. But speaking of McLaren's, Mario Marin is now caught up to Lima, but losing the rear end there, going through a Variante Villeneuve will lose you some time, as you just saw. And even though he was only a couple tenths behind, now he's definitely more than half a second behind Lima up ahead. So the car's kind of, you know, a lot of positions kind of stabilizing right now. The closest battle on track would be Shooter behind Ole Pitschich and Lance, which was not too far behind Marin and Lima. Those are the main battles on track at this time. And also an update on right here's car. He did lose another second that lap. He actually lost 2 seconds to Hardenberg. So Hardenberg is closing a lot, but with 5 minutes left in the race, it is not enough time to really do anything. But we got a 3-car battle here for 13th, which could be a 4-car battle for 12th, but Lance is just far enough ahead to break the toe with Pitschich. But we'll see if Shooter, Pitschich, or Foch can steal, or if Pitschich can hold on to the position, Shooter can take it, or if Foch can improve on his position as well. But right now, they're holding steady. You know, 4.5 minutes left. We'll keep an eye on it right now. And that superior Bavarian technology car, not looking like it's superior to the Aston Martin ahead, unfortunately. But it's been superior enough in that he's halved his starting position since he did start P28. Got a very good run out of Rivazza there. Can Shooter make the overtake? Can he get into 13th? You know, get another position notched on his belt. It's not looking like he's got the straight line speed in the BMW at this time. Connor Wright on track right now. It's going into Rivazza with 4 minutes left. He's been doing about 148 this whole race. So when he crosses the line, we're looking at 3 laps to go. So we'll keep an eye on that. As right now, yeah, he crossed the line. Yeah, it should be 3 laps to go now at this time. We'll come across the line next time at around to the 2-minute mark. So hopefully everyone has enough fuel and has accounted for this fact. Looking right now, right here, he's in 2nd place. Doesn't have any damage. Still lapping pretty quickly. There's a 147.9. A much better pace than what we saw a little bit ago. The rain is said to continue to increase, but it's already heavy rain right now. So these guys, the fact that it's heavy rain and these guys are still improving on their lap times is pretty crazy. The track has not gotten worse from damp, interestingly enough. So I was cheering for it to get wet, since I think it would bring a little bit more chaos into the mix, but it's looking like it's going to stay damp for the rest of the race. So unfortunate to see. Gillian Hardenberg running 3rd place right now, going out of Variante Tamburello at the end of Sector 1. He's been driving pretty well these last few laps. He's actually been lapping faster than Wright and Ray here these last few laps, but it's not going to be enough to close up the gap. Alex Torregrossa has made his way around Ray Arby. Not sure what happened to the Aston Martin there, but Torregrossa is up to P4 and by a margin. So good overtake by the Spaniard, I assume. I'm not sure if Arby had an off on the track. But it looks like the Turkish driver should have enough of a gap to Irish running P6, who's really been on a tear. You see him kind of sliding through Tamburello. That Irish has been really quick. He was running near Conjuglu in Vulcan before. Now Conjuglu, if you look, as Irish goes out of Tosa, Conjuglu is starting to enter the Villeneuve right now. He's got Vulcan for company, so it might be a combination of Neri struggling right now. But Irish has shown some really good pace. His previous lap was a 149 flat, so not matching what the leaders are doing, but still very quickly. I believe Ray Arby had an off on the track because his last lap was a 155.9, so something that happened last lap would explain why they're down in P5. We got the battle right here for 7th. Marin is still on the rear end. I'm not sure how Latz got ahead of Marin. We missed that, but Marin's really struggling right now. He actually lost position to Jay Fang as well. He must have had an off because he did 156. Yeah, oh, that's a lot of front end damage. So Marin must have had a collision with the wall. His car is severely damaged now. He's going to lose the position to Ole Pitschich and a Shooter. So that's going to be one of the positions that Shooter was looking for, albeit not the car he wanted to overtake. Marin's just going to struggle to bring it home this point as he's down in 14th position. Shooter going off the track there, that will not help him. It might open the door for Marin again, but I think Marin knows better of it at this stage of the race. Fang, though, up to P10. Great job so far by the Chinese driver. We haven't really talked about him that much. He's had a pretty good last few races. You know, he started out the season on the wrong foot, but running in the top 10 will net him a decent amount of points. You know, he's only 21st in the standings with 81 points, but 10th place does get you 44 points, so he's going to increase his point total by over 50% at this race. Dennis Latz, speaking of which, in 11th, will greatly improve his points total after finishing on the podium for the first race. So it's good to see the German have a nice recovery job. He will certainly shoot up the points as well. So, but either way, if Marin has fallen victim to Samir Foch, we expect Marin to lose a few more positions. Actually, he might not lose any more. Grigo Sandgrit's pretty far behind, you know, so we're not sure. I don't think he'll lose any more. As Connor Wright crosses the finish line now, he's going to start the final lap of the race. The British driver has had an absolutely dominant performance so far. All he has to do is keep it on track for one more lap, and he will win this race here at Imola. So one more lap, folks, of this track, this very iconic circuit that has also has a tragic past to it. But either way, these cars are having some pretty good races today. As Vulcan has made the move on Neri Conjuglu, let's see if we can get the replay, see how that overtook happened. It happened in the last sector. Nope, doesn't look like the overtake will be shown. Thank you very much, replay. So that's not exactly what I wanted. But as you can see, Vulcan made the move, I would assume, either from Villeneuve or maybe even Tamborel. It had to have been through Villeneuve because Vulcan was still behind going into Villeneuve. So it looks like the Mercedes was able to get around, and you can see him pulling away. Meanwhile, looking at the replay thing, Shooter, haven't really seen him close up on pitches. I think he's going to hold 13th position for the time being. But let's go back to Connor Wright right now. He's in the final sector now. He's had a very strong performance today. It will be his first race win of the season. He will take second in the championship, the Drivers' Championship. He will close up to Ray here by a margin of 10 points, which will put him 108 behind our championship leaders. This right here is only P2. So it's not what Wright wanted if you want to mount a championship comeback. But either way, a race win is a race win as he comes out of Ravazza for the final time. And Wright has made all the right calls today, and he will come home and round the final corner, that very slight final corner of turn 19, and cross the start-finish line and win here at Imola. Connor Wright is your race victor for today. Excuse me as I burped through that. That was awkward. Coming home in P2 is Tom Ray here with another fantastic drive for our championship leader, the German, doing another wonderful job. Gillian Hardenberg is currently running P3 and will round out our podium positions today. A very good recovery for him after a horrible Bathurst. He has got to be happy in the cockpit of his car, and will definitely help the Numslops Shumi Skins team in improving their position. Up ahead is Marlon Andrade, who has finished as well. Alex Torgrosa is going to come home and take P4 in his Mercedes. What a drive for him. Ray Arby will finish P5, the Turkish driver, with their best finish of the season. Only their second race of the season. Very strong performance for them. Alexander Irish, who was looking very quick in the closing stages. He actually had a faster final lap than Connor Wright as he comes home in at P6. Well, not that lap, but the one before. Irish, great job with the P6 in the BMW as he started with that. Vulcan, as you check, running P7. You know, that's a very good result for him. He only had 26 points to his name coming into it. He's going to have a lot more after this. Right behind him is Neri Conjuglu finishing P8. Paulo Lima, who's had a very solid drive, will finish P9 and in the top 10. Great job for the Portuguese driver. Jay Fang will round out our... Actually, no. Jay Fang made a mistake on the final lap. Dennis Latz will round out our top 10. Jay Fang's going to drop way down. Oli Pitchich will finish 11. Shooter finishes P12. Samir Foch finishes P13. And Jay Fang will come 14th. So the Chinese driver making a mistake on the final lap drops down to 14th. Mario Marin finishes 15th. And Grigo Sandgrit finishes 16th. So there's your final order, ladies and gentlemen. Connor Wright is your race victor here today. An absolutely crazy job there today. A fantastic drive overall. Let's see if we can, let's go over here. Nope, wrong screen. There we go. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to that 650. See if Marlon Andrade is still here. Maybe we can get him into the interviewing room. Not sure. D'Acusa said he took dry tires when he first pitted. And that is why he dropped down the order as well. Yes, we will quickly disconnect from the system now. No need for that to be up anymore. Not hearing a response from Andrade at this time. I'll try to message him later on. But once again, Connor Wright is your race victor. A fantastic drive for the Aston Martin driver. All right, we will back out of that. Let's see if anyone is waiting for an interview. Let's see. We got one guy in the interview. It's Tom right here. He currently said he's AFK for 2 minutes, so he'll be our first driver, and right now currently our only interview, but that's okay. So right here, we will have in here in a couple minutes time for an interview. Let's see if I can still get an update on what happened to Andrade there, because that was probably the weirdest interest. A lot of people are asking Andrade what happened. So we'll see if we can get that answer momentarily for you guys. So, because that was probably the weirdest incident. I'll see if we can get an update for you folks. So it looks like he's responding now. Tom right here looks like he is ready for an interview. So while we wait for Andrade's response, we're gonna go ahead and we'll bring in here. There we go. Let's fix that. We'll bring in Tom right here, our P2 driver who had a very, very strong performance. And let me turn on my desktop audio so you can hear him. And let's bring him on in. Hey, Tom, how are you doing today, and how are you feeling after that very interesting Imola race?
It was quite an eventful race, no?
Oh yeah, the changing weather there. I didn't see that one coming. That's for sure. I knew that there was a slight chance for rain, but man, the rain, it came and it poured. So
The interesting thing is actually the rain was supposed to be coming at the halftime, and like 5 minutes into the race we got full rain. That was quite something.
yeah, that was pretty crazy. Now, did you have your car set up? Did you run like a wet setup or a dry setup? How did you cope with it? Because one of the things I was kind of betting on, because I saw the track go from fast to green to greasy really quick, I was expecting it to go wet, and it never did. So did you have how did you have your car set up?
Well, actually the idea was that I was going on for the normal dry setup, but yeah, I don't know. In the end, I think it would have been way better to just load the Hungaroring setup because that was perfect. I mean, nobody could have expected that the rain is coming so fast and so heavy, just like 5 minutes into the race. I think everybody was expecting the race to be at least half-time dry, so yeah, I don't know, it's just quite unfortunate. White did a really good job just with his setup. I don't know, maybe he did load the wet setup, would have been perfect for him, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you still showed phenomenal pace. I mean, you still had, I believe, a 15-second gap to Hardenberg behind. So even though that you weren't able to keep with Red at the end there, you were still lapping as the second fastest car in the field. So, I mean, that was a very strong race. And also, I don't know if you are aware, but after this race and with 3 races to go, you have a 108-point gap in the championship. So has that affected your mentality at all, would you say?
Obviously yes, because going into the race I didn't really feel like I have the pressure to perform this race, because obviously, as we know, I have 108 points gap now. That is way more than one race, so even if I now choke in Kialami and maybe have a good race in Zandvoort, I may not need to drive in Spa and still win the championship. So at this point I'm just trying to be consistent, not push too hard, not go for the full risk, and be P1 just just try to finish in a podium so I get the most points out of it, and just try to keep the gap to P2 over 100 points for Spa, so I don't have to drive.
Yeah, I mean, it's working out for you so far, and it seems like you've had like the best luck out of everyone in the field. We saw Bauer go off at some point. He looked like oh, no, he had to stop go, and then his car just wouldn't handle it. Um,
Yeah.
I've asked this just to you before, but I'll ask it to you again. Do you feel like you got any kind of lucky charm or something? Because you seem to always avoid the unfortunate luck that some of these guys are getting. Like, do you just have like a lucky charm or something, or are you just like you're just driving?
Like, I don't know what's happening the last few weeks since 2021. I just feel like I have luck every race. Like, no matter what, just sometimes I have incidents like in Bathurst, like I got the 5-second damage on the front, but in the end, even that it was better for me than just driving with the normal setup. So I don't know. It's just kind of a upward spiral at the moment, I suppose.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, and I mean it's been working for you every time. So it's great to watch you every race, and I look forward to seeing you at Kielami.
That will be quite something, yes.
Are you not happy for it? Do you not like the track?
Like, honestly, going into the season, I knew that Suzuka and Kyalami will be the two races that I'm just gonna chill out because, like, okay, Ferrari is good on these tracks, but I'm not. So I just gonna chill out on these races, just see what happens. But Zandvoort and Spa, like, if I have to drive Spa, let's see that. But yeah, those two races are gonna be the next races that you will see me on the top three at least.
All right, well, we'll look forward for that. And hey, maybe you'll get a top three in Kielami, and maybe you'll surprise yourself. You never know, because you've shown a lot of pace this season. So
I definitely wouldn't complain. Let's say it that way.
yeah, yeah, definitely cannot at a track you don't like. I know how you feel there. So I look forward to seeing you
Yes.
back here next week. And take care and have a good week, and keep that pace and momentum going.
Thanks, man. Same. Stay safe.
Yep, thank you. You too. All right, so that was the voice of Tom right here. Next up, we will have Neri Conjuglu. I believe if I've been slurring this last name, I do apologize now. But before we bring him in, quick update on Marlon Andrade. It's looking like got hit in the chain, the car just wouldn't move, rears were just spinning, so he was just stuck in the grass. So that is the update on what happened to the 650S that we saw just stall out, and that is just so unfortunate. I assume that's just like a sad thing that happens in the game, and it's not what you'd want to you want to see happen ever to a driver because he was having a superb drive after starting towards the back. So hopefully we see him improve on next week. And now let's bring in Neri into the chat. Let me just update real fast. Da, da, da. All right. I believe I got the spelling right on the name. We will quickly. There we go. There's the full name there. Let's go bring him on in. Hello, Neri. How are you doing today?
Fine, actually. This is a surprise result for me. I wasn't expecting such result, actually. But rain did okay for me, to be honest, because if it wasn't for rain, I probably ended up like 15th or 16th because my pace wasn't so great in drive. But managed to complete a faultless race. Just a couple of bumps. I've been bumped by a couple of times. But wasn't so wasn't too big. I had to recover. Had a chance to recover, but my pace wasn't so great in wet either. I wasn't too fast, but
I mean, the lap
by luck.
times didn't have to be perfect because something that I saw with you and then Paulo Lima behind, the two of you seemed to just be able to lap after lap. Wasn't the fastest pace, but it was consistent as we saw so many of the cars go spinning off.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the beauty of the rain actually, because sometimes fast guys do mistakes, and I wasn't taking too many risks, to be fair. And I was just trying to complete the race and finish in top 10 because I've been very unlucky this season, and this is my first top 10 season, top 10 finish this year. So I'm happy with the result and had a good race. It was fun. Yeah.
I mean, fun is one way to put it. I mean, I quite enjoyed watching it, and I mean, the top 10 is obviously insane as you're basically going to double your point total on the season. It's definitely your best race.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can keep that momentum going in Kielami, or?
I'm, but to be fair, I'm better at Kyalami than compared to Imola. Uh,
Mhm.
I hope I will get better result whether it's dry or whether it's rainy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the forecast for Kialami, but I mean, you did drive insanely well today. Did you? So you said you didn't have dry set pace. Did you just run a wet setup for the race then, or?
I was running with a dry setup actually. I haven't
Oh
had a
man.
chance to prepare a wet setup, but you know,
So what you're telling me at a track that you didn't feel like you had dry pace on, and you had no idea how it was gonna go wet, and you just kind of YOLO'd it and went with the dry setup in the wet.
yes, that's correct actually.
So
No,
that's impressive.
that's the thing with the Aston actually. It's a stable car. It doesn't want to kill you at every corner. You know, before the nerf, Porsche was a very fast car. You probably heard that.
Yes.
But each corner it tried to kill you. The
Yes.
beauty with Aston is that it doesn't do that. So with a not perfect setup, you can do fairly good lap times actually. So yeah,
I mean, you made it work fantastically today, and so it's a great
thank you very
job
much.
by you today. Um,
Thank you very much.
yeah, I look forward to seeing you race next week. Let's see if you can have an even better result and keep this momentum going.
Hopefully. I
Uh,
will let Connor talk because you know he is the man of the day.
Yeah, he did have a good job, but I mean, that should not undermine your result because you had a great job
Uh,
too. So look forward to seeing you next race on track, and I hope you have a good week.
thanks. Have a nice evening or day. I don't know where you look at it in the US, right?
I'm in the U.S., so it's still afternoon for
Yeah.
me. I mean, it's not really too nice outside, but I can't complain. So
So have a nice day. Bye
thank
bye.
you. Yep. Good night. All right, so the voice of Neri Conjuglu. And next up, we actually have our race winner of Connor Wright looking to speak. So he had a fantastic drive today, and so we're looking to see what he has to say. So let's get him on in here. Hello, Connor. How are you feeling after that fantastic drive today?
That was great fun.
It's great fun. I mean, you just absolutely blew the field away for all 60 minutes, really. What was your
Yeah,
secret?
I mean, the start was okay-ish, but the Aston's pretty bad. But managed to stay in front of Hardenberg after turn one. I think I gained a few seconds in the dry, but then the rain came and I probably made the bad decision of going a lap longer than Tom,
Yeah.
um, which meant that he caught back up to me, and I thought he was going to get past me, but what I did is I just watched the delta and saw where he was gaining time on
Mhm.
me with that extra lappage of the track, and just sort of realised that I needed to be a bit more uh, like ballsy through those areas, and caught the time back, and then slowly just got away through a bit of traffic, and just try not to make any mistakes, really.
I mean, it worked out perfect for you, and being ballsy got you, I believe, right here I made a mistake one lap, but I mean, it got you basically a 15-second margin at the end. So, I mean, you were just flying in the wet, and no one was matching your pace. Um,
Yeah, I was really surprised, to be honest.
did you run a wet setup, or did you run a dry setup? Something I've
No,
been
it was
asking.
the dry setup with wet tyres, and the pressures were guessed, and they turned out to be perfect, which was nice.
So you're kind of like Neri, who we just had in here. You just kind of guessed on what to do in the weather, and it worked out
Yeah,
perfectly for you.
yeah, pretty much.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you were flying today. You're very impressive. You said you actually got a couple seconds on the first lap of the race, and even in the dry, no one seemed to have an answer to your pace. I mean, yeah, staying out a lap longer didn't help, but you did fantastic today. I kind of before the race, I was like knocking on wood because I was like, all right, we got Connor Wright on pole here today, and we're hoping that he doesn't repeat Japan. So
Yeah,
I had my
yeah.
fingers crossed for you, and thankfully we didn't repeat.
Yeah, I think I did probably go a bit conservative on the start, and I think Hardenberg actually was starting ahead of me because I was so far back in the area that I could start in. It
Yeah.
was a bit of a disadvantage, but it was better to be safe than get another drive-through for jumping the start.
Yeah, you don't want to drive through starting from pole. We don't want to do it twice either. So,
No.
but you had a fantastic drive there. You actually that overtake through turn one. It's like once you made that move, you never looked back.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Kielami coming up? Do you think you can carry your momentum next week?
Yeah, I think similar conditions to this race. Last season we did it. I think I came third, so it's not a bad track for the Aston. It'll be okay. Don't new Ferrari's like there, to be honest. So I guess we'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, Tom was saying the Ferrari. He said the Ferraris are good there, but he said the he is not so good there. So we'll
Okay.
see if you can close up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from a championships points, it's looking rather grim with 3 races to go. You're 108 behind right here, but hey, you never
Yeah.
know. You know, he has
No,
one
yeah.
bad race and you're right back there. So, and you've shown.
Spa's coming up as well,
Yeah.
and that's the Aston's strongest track. So
Yeah. So you definitely can't, count yourself out just yet, since we've seen everything happen this season, to be honest. So we've seen huge collisions, guys from P1 fall off, guys come out of nowhere. So look forward to seeing you on track in a week's time. And it's good to be back on track watching you guys.
thank you.
You're welcome. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and hope you enjoy celebrating that race victory, that very dominant race victory.
Straight on to practice a Kyle Army tomorrow. Don't worry.
All right. Well, that's good news to hear then. So you take care and enjoy the practice, I guess. Enjoy it as much as you can, that is.
Yeah. See ya.
See ya. So that is all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you ever so much for tuning in today. It was a very interesting race, what we saw today. At the end of it, Tom right here finished P2, but has a 108-point gap in the championship. So he's looking very strong right now to steal the take the championship. But it was another strong performance by Wright. We saw a handful of different drivers, have good races. Fang up until the last lap was running in the top 10. He was having a great job. Andrade had dragged his 650S, into the top 10 until he had that incident. And then we saw some other guys who have been towards the front recently struggle, like Pitstich. We saw Bauer have an unfortunate struggle. Chris Jones was on a recovery drive, looking to carry his momentum from Bathurst. He struggled. So looking to see what the races bring going forward. We hope you join us here at Apex Online Racing next week when we go around Kialami, go to South Africa, and that should be a lot of fun. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week.